keep forgetting them. I leave them at my computer.
It is now the time and place for the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for Graham County. Welcome all of you here. We do have a quorum. I will say a few things to start with. We are an advisory group. We give information that we've gleaned from here and our own research to send to the Board of Supervisors with a favorable or unfavorable recommendation. And then they, again, will meet with you, and then they will, at that time, hopefully they've reviewed our information, and they will make their decisions on what they have gleaned from all of their research. So again, welcome here. What's going to happen is when we call you ahead up here, then we will ask you to come up here, give your name and what you're speaking to, and then tell us what you're doing. But always be sure and give your name where they can put you on the record. So thank you for being here. We do have a quorum. Has everybody read the minutes? Is there any questions or changes?
I move to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we will approve these as submitted. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And so they will be put on file. What's this? Oh, okay. The first thing on our agenda today is right here on my agenda. The new business that is REZ 89824 APN 103-10-039. That's 1.33 acres at APN 103-10-040. 0.66 acres, APN 103-10-141, 1.03 acres, and APN 103-10-142, that's a 0.66 acres. A request was made to rezone from the current SD, that's special development, to RM, that's multifamily residential. The request is Mary Ann Larson for ECM Investments LLC. ECM Investments LLC would like to change the zoning to match the intended use. This property is located on the corner of First Avenue and Red Mile Road at the base of Jensen Hill on the east side. Is there anybody here to speak to that?
I don't see anybody here from that group, but we are running into an oddity here. We're showing an owner change on one of those parcels since we had the application. But let's go ahead and deal with it. And if that is factual, it'll come up. We'll have it figured out before it goes to the board. This orange parcel is what we're dealing with. If you remember a couple months ago, Jason Brimhall came in and changed the blue to the east. He rezoned that portion and got a buyer. And I was under the impression the same buyer said, if you'll change the zone to the blue on the orange part, I will buy it from you. And that's how I understand the situation is. It's contingent on this getting a zone change in order to sell. But we're now showing that very westernmost parcel has already sold to somebody that we didn't even know was in the game. So, but what they're wanting, and I'm not sure here's what this accomplishes as I see it. This zone change from residential special development, it was put in there, they asked for townhomes, and this has been quite a few years ago. And that's basically multifamily residential, and they're asking for multifamily residential now. But the difference would be that in order to get a building permit on the orange piece, you would have to have a complete plan for the entire, for all 4 pieces. Under the blue, if they can get it, they can do it 1 piece at a time. They don't have to have an overall plan. So I guess that is the reason for them to rezone, because other than that, they can build all the same. It doesn't change anything what they can do on the property. It just changes the process by which they get it approved. If you guys have questions or beyond that, that's how I see it. Whether it's that blue parcel or it's the orange parcel, they can do the exact same things. They can do multifamily on it. It just is a little harder to get it approved because of engineering type stuff on the orange than the blue. And if there's anybody here, any of the neighbors have questions, come on up and put them through the microphone and we'll address them. Mark, just tell everybody who you are and where you live. And
I apologize, I came to talk about the next topic, but finding this one here, I would like further clarification. I do live at 500. I live straight south of there. I'm just this curious, I'm not forming an opinion. The blue got changed to multifamily residential. It's already been done. And you're saying that that can be townhomes and they can go 1 application at a time, the way it currently sits. So the orange they're requesting, what's before the board now, is for it to become blue multifamily as well. Okay. Does multifamily, does that qualify as apartments and multi-level? Just curious. Yeah. Primarily, a big piece of that is the sewer situation. Okay. So,
The only sewer is out to the east, you think? Sewer go down east of those properties. Yeah.
does the sewer run north and south on Welker? And
Yeah.
where does it end on the?
Keeps going all the way out to the federal prison. So, yeah, well, Jack pushed it out. It goes east of us, actually. So yeah, I own the property directly south of those 2 that you're talking about. We're landlocked in there. I only told them. Yeah.
Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wanting to speak to this matter? Is there any questions of Steve, or do you want to, any discussions?
So there's no, either way we zone this, the same type of structures are permissible.
everything that I can tell, they're both multifamily, and they're both talking rental units rather than owner occupied.
Sounds like it just makes it easier to go through the process.
Just let's get it on the record though.
Well, I'm just wondering if it makes sense to pass it on if we think there may be a change in plan and change of owner already compared to what was requested on the zone. If that's what I'm Well, did I understand though, the applicant for the zoning may be a different owner at this point than what was applied for? S- s- I just wondering if the applicant that applied for the zoning change is no longer the owner, why are we?
They are the rest, there's 4 parcels, and
Right.
3 of them still show to be in marriage, 1 shows to not.
So I'm not trying to be overly technical, but it doesn't sound like we know whether or not Montoya wants a zoning change.
That's why we're before it goes to the board, is to clarify that. What I'm saying is, we can't verify that that information is correct.
Right.
Just tell us that some information.
So that was Jason Bramhall that came in and originally did it.
He did the part of it now.
So we're really needing more information.
You're welcome to table it, if you want to ask more questions. Applicant isn't here to answer them, so that's your prerogative.
Should we approve it and then have the board change it once you figure out what Montoya wants to do?
Well, if I find out that Mr. Montoya has bought it and doesn't want to change it,
then
then
the
it
board
would
will
have to,
change
it
at
would
that
have to
point.
go away and come back another time.
I say we go that route, and then if he does want it, then we don't have to bring it to the board again. And then have the board members change whatever the board needs.
So what are you saying, it's better to table it or try to pass it with the board?
Pass it with the board. On those.
Could you guys speak up a little bit? So is there any more discussion on this, questions? We are.
If, just let me throw this in here, if you want to wait a few minutes, he's calling Mr. Montoya, he may get an instant answer. I don't,
Oh, that would be awesome.
if that would ease anybody's mind, we may, just may throw it out. I mean, I don't know. And he may not get an answer.
So these are not labeled, so I don't know who is with which. I know that some's for and some's against, these are for, but I'm not sure. The only one that marks is this one, the RV park. This one's Highway 70, I would say that would be this one. And this one, wouldn't you?
He's gonna have to sign a power of attorney to make it viable. Okay, he's good with it, and he will fill out a power of attorney before it goes on to the board.
They're calling for a question. You really want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Been moved, is there a second? Okay, we will send this item. Yes, let's do have a vote first. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, so there, did you get that? Okay. There's one abstention, and, because he is an adjacent property owner. All those in favor? Opposed? We will send a favorable recommendation to the Board of Supervisors. Anybody that wants to go to the supervisors meeting, it will be on, Monday, the May 6th, and it will be heard then. It starts at, because you never know how fast they move or how slow. It depends on what's on their agenda. Thank you all for coming for that item. The next item on our agenda is number 5, REZ 89924, and that's APN 107-55007A, 30 acres. A request was made to rezone from the current A, that's a general, to RMH, that's residential of manufactured homes, and they're specifying travel trailers. The requester is Joseph Kennedy, who has been given power of attorney from landowners Randolph Sanchez and Manuel Joe Bertrone. Mr. Kennedy wants to build an RV park. This property is located on the south side of US Highway 70, east of the San Jose Canal. Is there, Steve, would you?
I don't see the applicant, and I almost don't want to get into this because I don't know enough about what he wants to do. He was told to be here this morning with a plot plan and in writing to show us what his intentions were. In fact, he was told to have it to us a few days ago so we could supply it to you. That hasn't happened. I hate to make all the neighbors have to come back later, but I would suggest you either table it or deny it. And probably table it is the easier thing, but then that means everybody has to come back next month to talk about it. But I don't know enough about it to present it.
Let's hear from them. They're here.
What's that?
They're here, so why?
Well, if they want to speak to it, that's your prerogative. You can hear from the neighbors now and keep it in your head and whatever you want to do.
For the sake of time, I'd say let's hear them out.
They're here.
That's fine. Anybody wants to talk to this, you're welcome to come on up and say your piece.
Okay, we have 4 different people here that's wanting to speak.
Call one by name and we'll go from there.
Okay. Mr. Mark Rowley.
The first issue has already been addressed in that I was hoping to see a plan for details as to what RV park means. It can mean, in my mind, it can mean I pull in there with a 5th wheel, or I can pull in there with something in the back of my pickup, or I can put something similar to the, I'm old, I would refer to the old Ivanhoe park, something more permanent, so that obviously is not being addressed today. I think we go on record to say we understand that it's probably a play for the mine for their housing, but we know what that can draw into our community. You talk to law enforcement or any others. That area is becoming a nice area with some nice homes being built, and I'm sure I'm probably not the only, and I'm speaking on behalf, I should go on record, I'm speaking on behalf of a trustee of my father's estate. My father is right there close, and we are opposed to it, especially without knowing any details.
Thank you. Kyle Lackner.
Hello. So my name's Kyle Lackner. I live actually directly across in the red, me and my wife and our 4 children. So just like Mr. Brawley said, there is a lot of nice homes in there. You think of a trailer park, guarantee it is for the mines. I do work for the mine. I'm not opposed to it, but I know it's not gonna be people that live, you know, and work here. It's gonna be contractors that come in and out. Contractors that live all over the state gonna come in and out, and just, mainly it's gonna be young males. I do have my family there. I work night shifts. It's not something I wanna leave there, right? I live directly across from it. It's not gonna put a lot of safety in my heart for my family to be there when I'm gone. For one, the highway, that highway is not built for, you know, 50, 60 trailers. It's not. There's plenty of accidents that happen just as it is right now. Who's gonna be living there? We don't know who's gonna be living there. You know, this is a plane direct from Mexico to Phoenix. There's a lot of drugs that come through this valley, and I think putting something like this would harm that, right? If the guy, with all respect, right, we all showed up. The guy should have showed up if he wanted to see what he had to offer. We're all very busy. We have times. If he wanted this, he should have showed up with it. So it's just not a good idea in my opinion. So, thank you.
Thank you. Lorraine Colvin.
Good morning. I'm neighbors to Kyle Lackner and Mr. Brawley's father and the Gomez's. We've lived there 48 years. We've always been lucky that our house has not been messed with, and if something like this came up and we don't know what type of people would come in, I'm sure there's going to be some good ones, but there's always some kind of bad element, and I'm worried about that. And like you said, there's lots of accidents that happen in that turn across the street from us, and I worry about that because we take care of our place and we would like to see it stay that way, you know. And there's a lot of nice houses that have been built there, and those people also take care of their home, so we're proud of that, and we want to just keep it safe. Thank you.
Christy Gomez.
Good morning, I'm Christy Gomez. I have lived out there for a very long time with everybody else. We have very nice houses. Putting a trailer park in will devalue our land, devalue our houses, and it'll bring in, like Kyle said, contractors that we do not want the trouble with. They'll be close to our kids, our grandkids, walking up, down back before, by the canal. We've been pretty safe out there without having all the trouble with the crime and stuff, but I believe these contractors coming in would bring all that. Also, the highway is another bad reason. There is constant wrecks down on the highway because people don't pay attention when they're turning. I've been involved in one, and a lot of other people have been involved. If they put a trailer park in, it's just gonna cause more traffic, more collisions, more trouble. Plus, it's gonna devalue everything with trailers. And we wanna keep our homes and our land out there, the valuation high, and we don't want a trailer park in there. Plus, our water. We have trouble with our pressure out there. So if they put a trailer park in, is it gonna drop our water pressure even more? So, you know, all these things that have to be looked into, and I just think it's gonna devalue everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Krista Lochner? Lechner? Lechner?
Good morning, my name is Kristen Lackner. I live with Kyle in the red there, right across the street from where they want to put this RV park. Like my husband and my mother and my neighbor had said, and Mark, it will devalue our property and the crime rate will definitely go up. I'm not opposed to contractors. I know they work hard, but a lot of contractors are from different states And they come in, they do what they want, and they move on. They do not care about the people or the locals around us. And I am worried about my children's safety, especially when my husband works night shift. I'm right across the street. I'm right there. I would be very, very close. The contractors could see me, or the trailer park people could see me from where they're living. And I just worry about my children and just everything that's going on in the world right now. So I am opposed to this. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you coming. What? Do you have any questions you want to table this? Because we
Well,
don't have
most
all
of the
the
RV parks,
information.
like we looked into, they came with a plan. I mean, they don't even have access from DOT, because how are they gonna access the property? You gotta do that. And what you gonna do for sewer? We know none of the other ones have made it because you can't put them on septic tanks and there's no sewer out there. So unless this guy's got a serious plan, I move that we deny it.
I'm kind of thinking it's gonna be like this one on 20th, that it had the resources.
It had sewer, it had the access,
And
and
it
yeah.
is a designated area, that we've designated for this kind of thing. But this is a little bit different out there with the,
No information.
And I feel the same, I feel like if the level of effort put into the application, if this is what we're seeing here, we'll probably see the same level of effort put into this RV park, So, this valley definitely, there's use for temporary housing like RV parks and such, but they have to be put in a manner that's conducive with their neighbors and with the local community. And I don't see the level of effort in this application that we need to make sure that that's right.
Well, ADOT's not gonna let it come out of it. They are really ridiculous about that.
okay, are you hearing, you guys hearing him?
Just for the record, I'll have to abstain from this one due to relation to some of the families out there. Definitely not a good place to put a trailer park or something. You already made a motion, right?
No, we're still discussing.
I move we take it to a vote.
You what?
I move that we put this to a vote.
Okay.
To deny.
So you just
Okay.
You either make a motion.
Make a
to table
motion.
or make a motion negative.
Are positive that we need something to decide on, so. It's been, suggested that we deny it, and you've suggested we discuss it.
Then I deny it. I suggest.
Okay,
As a formal motion.
Yes.
Second.
there's been a motion that we send an unfavorable
Can I interject
recommendation,
something
or
here?
maybe we're just denying it completely, ma'am, sir.
Can I interject something here, just so we're all, I don't have a dog in the fight, and I don't care either way, but if this gets denied, he cannot bring it back for a year. So if there's any chance that you think he can save this next month, I would suggest you table it. But if you think this is not a good deal, then go ahead with your denial. I'd like Mark just went and called him. I'd like to find out why he didn't show up. Mark, would you just, rather than me butchering what I got told, I'd like Mark to tell you.
Hi, I'm Mark Kavanaugh. I just spoke with Mr. Kennedy, and I've been working with him through the rezone process. And I did tell him that he needed to bring a site plan. He's been working with a developer out of Colorado. He was not able to generate that site plan within the month that this came to public hearing. And it was just a little bit of miscommunication that he was supposed to be here. I did tell him he did need to be here, but he didn't realize that he had to be here for this one. He knew he had to be here for the one for the Board of Supervisors. But I did let him know. I said, hey, your neighbors are here and they want to hear from you, and they want to know your plan. He said he could be here in 45 minutes, but I told him the meeting would be over by then. So I hope this helps. I guess it really doesn't, because he's not here to defend himself. So but just wanted to get that on the record.
We do have a motion on the table. Is there any discussion on it? All those in favor? Opposed? Did you get that?
I want to be clear on that. That motion was to deny, correct?
Deny it completely, so he'll be through for a year.
This, that doesn't make it go away. It still goes to the board in a month. So you are making a recommendation to deny it. The board will make the final decision in a couple weeks. They can table it, they can let it happen, whatever. We don't make the decision. Christie, would you like to? That's a state law that they'll have to comply with. If they can, they will. The state will. They can't do anything outside the rules of the law. So if they were to get this, which doesn't sound probable, but they would still, all septic systems have to stay, I think it's 100 feet from a canal, 100 feet from a well. They'd have to comply with all of that. And kind of what might happen would be they would get their septic system approved. If they got the zoning, they would get their septic system approved, and it would tell them how many trailers they could put in there based on septic. But I understand that, but I was just trying to answer your actual question.
Board of Supervisors is
On the
May
6th of
yeah.
May.
At 8 o'clock. They decide. We recommend.
We are an advisory board only, and we can just suggest. We don't get to decide.
Well, you just pay for third lane, fourth lane, you know, I mean, it depends on how serious they are.
That's what I'm saying. That's what, if they were serious, they would have the idea of ADOT and then no ADQ, how many trailers they're proposing. I mean, this is the least informative one we've had, but the littlest information. Other people come in and they have all this stuff done. And then most of them haven't done it because it costs so much.
Okay, we actually, she needs to be up there.
Yeah, really, we need, if anybody wants to talk, they need to put it through the recorder, please.
We voted.
Okay. So we have voted to send.
Did you get a good count?
Yes, we did. We have
Guys,
one that abstained, and we have one that voted against.
Okay, I just know I've said this before.
then I
Please
don't.
raise your hand when you vote.
Okay.
I'm not gonna ask to redo it, but it's sure a lot easier to count who's voting what when you've got your hand up.
And let's go ahead and do that.
Okay.
You know, that all those in favor? All those opposed? Of denying it, have the motion on, and then the one, and so one against. And then I'm not voting.
I'm not opposed, or I'm not voting for it, I'm just opposed to denying it. I would have postponed. I don't know what I would
You don't-
like
you don't
once I
get to-
heard it. Once I heard it, I don't know, but right now
It's done.
it's done and it's okay.
But it will be going to the Board of Supervisors, so be there. Thank you all for coming.
We'll have to approve the minutes from last month, or?
We did already.
No, I mean, he gives us the report on the last supervisor.
Yeah, we're not done. They are, but we're not. Yeah.
I thought we're not done.
No, we're still not done. I know what.
He was getting up, I thought he was leaving.
He wants to get back on that tractor.
Get back in that chair.
There's nothing new coming up, Steve, for next
Correct. We
time?
have nothing to set up for the next meeting.
And what about the discussions of the previous Board of Supervisor actions?
Let me find my notes here. The request of Mr. You know, I might as well just admit I'm blind. Put my glasses on. Can't read Redshaw, you gotta start over. Mr. Redshaw and the old John Deere place in Lone Star, or Bill Welding, or whatever you guys remember it as. That was sent to the board with a favorable recommendation, and it did get passed. And I think that's the only thing we had on last meeting, yeah. But it did get passed as per your recommendation.
So their next scheduled Board of Supervisors meeting is going to be on May the 6th. We do not have one scheduled for May because we have nothing unless we're contacted,
Correct.
right?
Now, what is your pleasure if we were to get an application this afternoon? Do you want to know about it and hear it in a month, or you want to just wait and set it up next month and hear it a month after that?
I hate to have anybody wait that long, you know, because
Well,
that sets them back a whole month.
Well, that's,
We kind of dealt with that a while back. and
Yeah.
We were having stuff that we were hearing that we hadn't set up, and so for me, it made it a little bit difficult, so I don't know.
I think right now, I mean, we don't know of anything that's even tentative at this point, so.
So you're putting like this afternoon limit on it?
Well, no.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
That's what we're-
actually, the limit was when we sent you your packet. It was last Wednesday, really. So they're already a week late at this point.
So what's your pleasure? Would you rather not, to just not have the meeting next?
So, well, we may have to have a meeting next month to set up for the following month. That's the hard part of it, is you'll have to come in here just to say, yeah, let's have a meeting next month. But that's how it's designed.
We can't do that by phone.
job.
And maybe you can. I can look into that.
Yeah, let's do
If they send
it.
us a paper one time and say, okay, if, you know, just send this back or send us an email that you're approved that or something, are you for it? Sometimes I can remember something like that. But we didn't have to come in, they just said, you did this or whatever, you know.
And we can figure that out. I'm sure there's a way that we can
Yeah,
just have you. I
these
think what we
people are
could
taking
do
off
is
the
email you all out what's being set up, and you could just reply back, yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've never denied something.
Right, and I know you're gonna set it up.
I enjoy coming
Gotta
in.
get used to this part. Before we
mean-
tell them no.
Always an oddball.
Thank you all. We'll see you whenever.
I'll collect the papers.
You will. Thank you, everybody.
You know how I like to do this is
Or
because
maybe not.
this was always the teacher's pet thing.
Here, I'll get the papers.
the projector.
Yeah, let me.
Would you have tabled that? I would.
Put all this together. Here, I'll get this in.
Next time you'll have how's everything, Brandon? Good seeing you, man. I see Jason fixing up the place over there.